Hey guys, welcome to devops school. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Python. Python is a general purpose, interpreted, interactive, object-oriented and high-level programming and scripting language. After going through this tutorial, I promise you that the concept and understanding of the Python will be absolutely clear to you. This series is divided into multiple parts. Therefore, subscribe to the channel and follow the playlist. But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps School certification level courses which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry-level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best and start today.
So, okay, I see a lot of newbies to programming and a couple of experts are also there. Great. Can I know what is your expectation about this training, or what are you looking for with respect to Python in your project or in your professional career as such? If you can just let me know so that we can focus on the training in that way.
Vedali, we measure to the people are part of the DevOps training, right?
Okay.
In this DevOps training, there are three courses, okay, which is specific to DevOps, specific to DevSecOps, and SRE. Okay, so if there are a couple of candidates who are part of all these three trainings, some of are part of one training, some of are part of two training. Right, so the session was designed by Rajesh to have the programming understanding for all of us. So this is one of the programming understanding what we are looking, and there will be another programming session which will be taken care by someone else.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes. So I was gonna say, I am very new to programming. So in fact, I think I am level 0. I don't think my level is here. I'm below level 1. So I'm completely baby new to programming. And for the sake of people like myself who may not even be able to speak up, I'm speaking for everybody who are baby programmers. Like I'm speaking for everybody and trying to amplify everybody's voice here. I'm completely new. I want to learn it from the scratch. And I know in every job description that I see for DevOps, every time I see Python, either I see Python or Golang or Ruby, PowerShell, Bash. So I am completely new. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thanks for the feedback. So this is going to be a 4-hour session tonight, and let me tell you what's the agenda which I have planned, keeping your background on a very generic level. So we will be starting with programming. We will not be able to cover each and every detailed into program in Python programming, but this session will be an introduction to programming, what exactly programming is. Then we will be looking at some features of Python programming, and we will be having an overview about how to build a web application using Python. So that's what is my understanding about today's agenda, as Rajesh had explained me. So if you are not able to get any of those technical stuff, it's okay. We can have one detailed session for you on each of the topics later on. But let's try to focus on from where you can start as a programmer and then move ahead with software development, that is the web application development using Python, and a little bit about deploying it. So let's start. So we will start with the first basic thing, that is what is Python programming language, or what do you mean by writing programs in Python? So when we talk about any language, be it a literature language or a programming language, so language basically means a means of communication. Right now I'm trying to communicate with you using English. So whatever I'm telling you, whatever concepts I'm telling you, they are going to be the same in any language I communicate with you. So the medium in which I'm trying to communicate is becoming my language. Same way, if we have to teach computer something, or if we want our computer to do some complex programs based on some algorithms, so we have a set of algorithms with us, and we want our computer to learn those algorithms and do the things quickly for us, then in that case we can teach those algorithms to our computer in terms of the languages which computer knows. So one of the languages, Python. So when we are learning the basic Python programming, you have to always keep in mind that I am learning the syntax and the grammar of that language. Now once we are very thorough with the fundamentals of that language, thorough with the syntax, grammar of that language, we can write any big algorithm in that language. Okay, so first step is to understand the syntax, understand the tricks which are used in that programming language. Now once you are ready with the basics, you can move up to building different types of applications, which are like some automation scripts. If you're coming from some server related background, automation scripts using Python is a very good way to automate your server related tasks, like checking disk usage and deploying something on your for us.
Maybe we lost you for a few seconds, 15 to
Completely,
10 to 15 seconds.
your voice is breaking.
Yeah, I think your internet may be spotty because it keeps going in and out.
Oh, is it so? Just a second, Let me check. 1 minute, huh?
Vedali, how's your internet speed? Is it okay?
I don't think so because it's breaking in and out, you know.
Right.
Okay. Am I audible now? Is it fine?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Great. Thanks. So let's continue. We were talking about what are the different applications. I'll just change the slide where I have written about it in more details. Okay. Let's talk here. Okay, so we were talking about the applications of Python programming. So we can use it to automate our tasks. We can use it to build applications. And the third perspective in which you can use Python is for your data science, which is the current thing going on in the market. So we can use it to study and manage data, to analyze it, to build predictions on the data. So to do all these tasks, Python has very good libraries inbuilt. So now let's move on and see what are the different features of Python programming. Python programming is an open source platform. It's an interpreter based. So you just have an interpreter where you can run your command directly. It's open source, freely available, and it is platform independent, which means that once I build my application on one system, I can just take that application, that executable file, and execute it on other systems, provided Python interpreter is installed there. So this These features make Python very user friendly. The code is also very simple. Not much of syntax are there as compared to those programming languages like C and Java. So they are a little more complex as compared to Python. So it's easy for newbies to learn it and grasp it quickly. The latest version is 3.8, and you can download it for free from python.org website. Now these were the features which we talked. These are very basic features. If you just go on Google and just search for Python features, you will get open source, dynamically type, high level, easy to code. So these are some basic features on which you can find huge content on internet. But as per me, there are three basic approaches in which Python can be used. I have already given a hint of it in the previous slides. I'll talk about it more further. Python can be used or can be treated in three different ways. First is procedural way or procedural approach. So this is a particular set of rules which is called as procedural programming. Procedural programming means what? You write your code one after the other, line by line, and then you can execute your code. So the code gets executed one after another. So that is the procedural way of programming. So Python supports procedural way of programming in which you can write your functions, you can write your libraries and run the program step by step. Procedural approach mainly helps in automating scripts. It helps in working with databases, helps in network programming. It also helps for writing simple test cases for your code. So there are different modules like Selenium. These all are implemented in Python also. So you can use them and build your scripts. The second approach is object-oriented approach. Object-oriented approach mainly talks about writing the program in terms of objects and classes. So what does it mean is whatever application you are building, identify what all entities are there. Like for example, if I am building an e-commerce website, so what will be my first entity in my application? It would be obviously the product. So I'm storing the information of product which I want to sell. Now, once I have the product, I will have the attributes, like what is the name of the product, to which category it belongs, like it's an electronic product or it's an apparel or it's a grocery item, what it is. Then what is the price of that product, etc., etc., etc. So this approach is implemented by Python. So it is not compulsory that you have to follow any one approach. You can use mix and match, or depending on the application which you are building, you can choose the approach which Python is supporting. So we were talking about object-oriented approach. This approach of Python helps us to build applications. So today we are going to talk about object-oriented in little more detail because we are going to build a small web application. So if you want to build GUI based applications or you want to build web applications, Python's object-oriented approach is very handy. The third approach is a functional approach. This is a very interesting feature of Python where Python has a lot of built-in functions. It has functions in the form of libraries, in the form of frameworks. So you can import these libraries in your environment and you can do really very complex tasks in just one single line. It also provides us mechanisms where we can manipulate the default functionality of a particular function. Like for example, I'll just create one small list over here. Here we call it list. If we have collection of multiple elements, they are stored in the form of a list in Python. So I'll just create a small list over here. I hope you are able to see the text on my screen which I'm writing. So let's say I have a list, say car, bike, and I have train. Okay. Now, if I want to find the largest element from this list, okay, so we have a function available which will give me max of list. So obviously the answer would be train, because T is the largest, alphabetically T is largest. So I'll get the answer as train. I'll add one more word over here. Say aeroplane. I think it has gone outside the screen, but let's consider there's aeroplane written over here. Now, if I find the max element, it is going to be train because T is the largest. But I want to find the largest element with respect to the number of characters. So car has 3 characters, bike has 4 characters, train has 5 characters, and aeroplane has 9 characters. So I want to find the largest element with respect to the size or the number of characters in my word. So we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to write any big code. Just tell max function that do not find the largest element or maximum element with respect to your default feature. Find it with respect to the length of each element. So length is a function which gives us the size of each word. So we are telling him find the largest element with respect to length. So just one word, adding one word to our code will actually manipulate the default functionality of our max function and give us a different result. And this will return us aeroplane because it's our largest word. Okay, so this is the functional approach provided by Python. And this approach helps us to write big programs. Like normally, if you're writing the program in say 5 lines, 6 lines, you can actually compress it to a single line program. So if you know these tricks are helpful for writing automation scripts, for building web applications also. You can just narrow down your code. Plus, it is very helpful when you are writing programs for analyzing your data. So over there, when you have to play around with your data, when you have to clean your data, all those steps you have to apply, in that case, this functional approach is very, very handy. Okay, so these 3 are the main features of Python which are actually used when you are writing your Python programs. Moving ahead, where is this language used? We have already talked a bit about it. The procedural approach is used for automation script, testing scripts, etc. Object-oriented approach is used for building applications, and functional approach is used mainly in your data analysis and statistics because all these functionalities are available to you. It is not any hard and fast rule that okay, this approach is used at this place only. This is a very generic perspective of looking towards Python. Now, if you want to do any one of these things, whichever project you are working on, or what is your background expertise, whatever it is, and if you are new to Python, you are choosing your way. Maybe you are a web developer, you were developing using .NET and you are shifting to Python. Maybe you were a tester and you are shifting to Selenium using Python. Or maybe you are just trying to explore the field of data science. Whatever is your background. The first thing is you should know what is Python programming, what is the syntax, and what are the tricks and tools available in Python programming to do the tasks. So that becomes the basis. So let's have a look at various basic functionalities in Python. So we'll have a small one example on all these basic topics. For this demo, I am going to use the IDLE environment. There are many inbuilt environments or inbuilt tools which you can use for writing programs. So for doing basic programming, I'm going to use IDLE. So let us start with simple programming concepts. I'll be taking some small problem definitions and we'll try to write some simple programs using Python for them. Okay, so let's start with the very basic program of say I have a number and I'm going to save that number in a variable. So let's say I have x is equal to 10. enter. So this is the procedural approach. I'm writing the code and immediately it is getting executed. And why it is getting executed immediately? Because this is the interpreter environment. I'm working on the interpreter environment. So the moment we write a code and press enter, it gets executed. So this variable x has got created in the Python environment. Now, what I want to do with this x is that I want to check whether this number is even number or an odd number. So for that, we need to take help of something called as operators and also a feature called as if-else conditions, that is decision making. These concepts are common in all the programming languages. Even if you have a background of Excel, we use if function, right? In Excel, we do use that. If true and false values. So what if the value is true? What if the value is false? So same concept, only the thing changes is the syntax. So we'll start with an if condition. If x mod 2. So now here mod stands for division and finding the remainder of the division. So mod is giving us a remainder of the division. And now we are going to check if the number is completely divisible by 2. It's an even number. Else it is an odd number. So we are checking the remainder and now we are comparing the remainder with 0. So double equal to stands for comparison between the two terms. So we are comparing with 0 and we are going to print even. So whenever we are printing any text, whenever we are creating any text value, we are always enclose them in a pair of quotes, single quotes or double quotes. We'll put the else part, else print odd. Now since x was equal to 10, we got the result as even. Okay. Now since this is a multi-line program, it's a 4-line program, it is not necessary that you always have to write the program on this prompt like this. If your program is big, you can shift the program to a file. So I'm going to shift this program to a file. I'll go to the file menu and say new file and I'll write the entire program over here. So in one go, it will get executed. So let me define x. X is equal to 10. We can save the program. Save it on desktop. The program will always get saved with .py extension, that stands for Python. I'll say even odd is the name of my file. Save it on desktop and run menu, run the module. And the program gets executed. Now, moving ahead, what if I want to...
Sorry. I'm sorry, before you move ahead, so what's the the code that you just wrote and run right now? And I'm trying to understand why did we do that and what's the outcome you just got before you move ahead.
Okay, this one?
Yeah, the one you just wrote, yeah. And we just ran it. What is the purpose and...
Okay, so the purpose was just to introduce you the syntax of if-else statement, and our problem definition here was, I'll write the problem definition, to check if a number is even number or odd number. That was the problem definition, a simple program. Okay. And yes. So to do that, the logic we applied here was we divided it by 2, and if the division was successful, that is no remainder, 0 remainder, it means even number. And if there is some remainder, means it is not 2 is not dividing the number completely. So the else part says that this condition is false, so it goes to else and it prints odd.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Makes sense now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So this was an example on if-else statement. Now we will take another problem definition. I'll write it in a file so that it will be easy for us to understand or read it. Now my next problem definition is write a program. WAP stands for write a program to print sum of all the numbers mentioned in the list. So let's define a list first. So I'm going to define it in the form of I'll take a variable as numbers is equal to take 3 2 6 4 1 7. And now what I want to do is I want to perform, or I want to print the sum of all the numbers in the list. So the simplest way is to use the sum function, but I'm not going to use the sum function. I'm going to iterate on the numbers in this list and try to find the sum. So what we are going to do is we are going to define a variable in which we are going to save the final result. So I'll use the variable total is equal to 0. So let's initialize our variable to 0. Now I want to iterate over all the numbers in the list. So for that, we have another type of syntax called as for loop. For loop helps us to iterate over numbers or iterate over elements in a list or any other sequence, list, tuple, strings, in any type of sequence we have. So let's write a for loop. For I is just a variable I'm taking, I in numbers, colon enter. Now what we have to do is we have to do addition. So we are going to do like this. Total is equal to total plus I, and at the end we'll print total. Okay, so let me explain how this iteration is taking place. So we have numbers and we have I over here. So this I is going to get values. First it will get value 3, then 2, then 6, and so on. So in the first iteration, in the first phase, we will get I as 3 and total was initially 0. So first I is equal to 3. Now this statement gets executed. It says total is equal to total plus I. So what is the original value of total? 0. So 0 plus 3 is going to give me 3. Then in the next stage, it is going to get assigned value 2. So what is the new value of total? 3. So 2 plus 3, 5. Now I will be equal to 6. So 5 plus 6, 11. Then next stage, I is going to be 4. 4 plus 11, 15. Then I is going to be 1. Then total will be 16. And then 7, it is going to be 23. So my final result, final value of total is going to be 23. Let's calculate and see. We'll have to first save this. I'll write here total as the name of my program. And let me run this. Yes, we get the result as 23. So what we learned in this example, we learned that if we have a sequence of elements, here we have numbers, we can have sequence of text elements, we can have sequence of say decimal numbers, anything. So when we have sequence of elements, we can iterate over those elements using a for loop, and we can perform certain tasks on them. For the same list, yes.
Vedali, how did you run the program?
I just run and then run module.
Okay.
Oh, I use a keyboard shortcut actually. I use F5. You can see here. You can execute it using F5.
Okay.
Okay. So another variation in the same program. I'll just comment it out. So if you want to comment a single line, we can use a hash, hash comments our lines. Comments means what? This particular code will not get executed. So I'm just commenting out these things. And now, what if I want to print squares of these numbers? So 3 square, 2 square, 6 square, something like that. So let's iterate on this. First, we have to iterate. So let's iterate using for loop. For I in numbers, instead of I, you can use any other variable also. It's just a variable. Now what we have to print is, I'm going to print the number first. So I, comma, I want to put a hash in between. So I want to print something like this. 3-9-2-4. So this is what I am expecting my output to be. So for that, I'm going to put a hash in between, hyphen in between, comma, and I want to get the square. So how to get a square? We will use double star 2. So this double star is nothing but an exponential. It will be like this, I to the power 2. If I put 3 over here, then it will be I to the power 3. So I'm putting 2 because I want the square. And let's try to run this. We get the result. Clear? So in this way, using these iterations, different type of iterations, we can do any manipulations with our data. Or else another example we will take on iteration. It not be always numbers. We will take one list. Just now we saw one list of like car, bike, aeroplane. Let's take the same list. So I'm taking LST is equal to car, bike, house, aeroplane. Okay, so this is my list. All the elements are text elements, so they should be always enclosed in pair of single quotes or pair of double quotes. Numbers are to be written directly, whereas text elements are to be enclosed in quotes. So let's iterate over this. So I'm going to use for a word in our list. We can either directly print the word. So if I just write print word, it will print all the words. Otherwise, I can, similar to the previous one, I can find the length of each word, put a comma.
Thanks for watching. To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Want to study further? Subscribe to our paid membership to get a deep dive into each and every topic. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to our DevOps School channel and hit the bell icon to learn more. Keep learning.